Yom Teruah, second reading, 24 September 2025. It is taken from Genesis 22, Jeremiah 31, verses 1 through 19, and Luke chapter 1, verses 39 through 55. Genesis 22. And it came to be after these events that Elohim tried Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Take your son now, your only son Yitzhak, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I command you. And Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Yitzhak his son. And he split the wood for the burnt offering, and arose, and went to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And on the 3rd day Abraham lifted his eyes, and saw the place from a distance. So Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, while the boy and I go over there and worship, and come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Yitzhak his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the 2 of them went together. And Yitzhak spoke to Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, See, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim does provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. And the 2 of them went together. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham built an altar there, and placed the wood in order. And he bound Yitzhak his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. But the messenger of Yehovah called to him from the heavens, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, nor touch him. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and saw behind him a ram caught in a bush by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered it up for a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of the place Yehovah Yireh, as it is said to this day, On the mountain Yehovah provides. And the messenger of Yehovah called to Abraham a second time from the heavens, and said, By myself I have sworn, declares Yehovah, because you have done this, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore, and let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Then Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to be after these events that it was reported to Abraham, saying, See, Milcah too has borne children to your brother Nahor. Uz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Camel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel brought forth Ribkah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah, also bore Teba, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maacah. Jeremiah 31, 1 through 19. At that time, declares Yehovah, I shall be the Elohim of all the clans of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus said Jehovah, a people escaped from the sword, found favor in the wilderness, Israel, when it went to find rest. Jehovah appeared to me from afar, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I shall draw you with kindness. I am going to build you again, and you shall be rebuilt, O maiden of Israel. And you shall take up your tambourines and go forth in the dances of those who rejoice. Again, you shall plant vines on the mountains of Shomeron. The planter shall plant and treat them as common. For there shall be a day when the watchmen cry on Mount Ephraim, Arise, and let us go up to Sion, to Jehovah our Elohim. For thus said Jehovah, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Cry out, give praise, and say, O Jehovah, save your people, the remnant of Israel. See, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth. Among them the blind and the lame, those with child and those in labor, together, a great assembly returning here. With weeping they shall come, and with their prayers I bring them. I shall make them walk by rivers of waters, in a straight way in which they did not stumble. For I shall be a father to Israel and Ephraim. He is my firstborn. Hear the word of Jehovah, O Gentiles, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He who scattered Israel gathers him, and shall guard him as a shepherd in his flock. For Jehovah shall ransom Jacob, and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. And they shall come in and shall sing on the height of Sion, and stream to the goodness of Jehovah, for grain and for new wine and for oil, and for the young of the flock and the herd. And their being shall be like a well-watered garden, and never languish again. Then shall a maiden rejoice and a dance, and young men and old together. And I shall turn their mourning to joy, and shall comfort them, and shall make them rejoice for their sorrow, and shall fill the being of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, declares Jehovah. Thus said Jehovah, a voice was heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping, Rahel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted for her children, because they are no more. Thus said Jehovah, hold back your voice from weeping, and your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work, declares Jehovah, and they shall return from the land of the enemy. And there is expectancy for your latter end, declares Jehovah, and your children shall return to their own country. I have clearly heard Ephraim lamenting. You have chastised me, and I was chastised, like an untrained calf. Turn me back, and I shall turn back, for you are Jehovah my Elohim. For after my turning back I repented, and after I was instructed, I struck myself on the thigh. I was ashamed, even humiliated, for I bore the reproach of my youth. Luke 1:39 through 55. And Miriam arose those days, and went into the hill country with haste, to a city of Yehudah, and entered into the house of Zechariah, and greeted Elisheba. And it came to be, when Elisheba heard the greeting of Miriam, that the baby leaped in her womb. And Elisheba was filled with the set-apart spirit, and called out with a loud voice, and said, Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And who am I, that the mother of my master should come to me? For look, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who believed, for that which Jehovah has said to her shall be accomplished. And Miriam said, My being makes Jehovah great, and my spirit has rejoiced in Elohim, my Savior, because he looked on the humiliation of his female servant. For look, from now on all generations shall call me blessed. For he who is mighty has done wonders for me, and set apart is his name. And his compassion is from generation to generation, to those who fear him. He did mightily with his arm. He scattered the proud in the thought of their hearts. He brought down rulers from their thrones, and exalted the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good items, and the rich he has sent away empty. He sustained Israel, his servant, in remembrance of his compassion, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever.